Well, I want to start this live stream. I actually explaining what it is I've been watching on my TV. Basically, it's about people who stammer, and I, being a stammerer, want to share my story because I have heard of people the off the TV, and I want to explain to you that stammering is embarrassing. It's awful. And I want to share my story. I remember the first time I started with a stammer. I was with my mum, and this was when I was a lot younger, in one of our first houses, and I was in the bathroom with her, and I was all at once really finding it hard to tell her what I wanted to. My lips quivered, and I couldn't understand why I was having this much trouble. I remember Mum at this time going, stop it. And in my head, I was going, I can't. But the more I tried, the worse this stammer actually became. In preschool and in first school, I always felt nervous, always. I was never comfortable. It was a bit like holding in my breath and taking little gasps of air in. Imagine that. Take pause with that, please. And I was bullied. I was also told off by teachers. Yes, teachers who you think are there to help you, however, aren't always there. Basically, I was told off by teachers because of the kids with that speech problem were quicker, weren't they? They were a lot quicker, and when you have a stammer, it is highly embarrassing. You want to put the teacher straight, or it becomes virtually impossible to talk. And I would get into, therefore, quite a lot of trouble and punishments, unfair punishments by teachers. I never knew what would happen each day. Okay, I'd go in to school, and I wouldn't hate it. I would never say I hated school. I would say that I hated the kids at school, the young kids in schools. And I have, for a large portion of my life, blamed bullies for inflicting this on me. The way I saw it was simple. If no one had bullied me, I would never have developed this dreadful stammer that was happening to me. oh, it didn't help always that I felt I knew exactly who was who lame, but it was how it would make me feel in here. When my stammer became apparent to people at school, that would make more teasing and hurtful imitations. I remember the once I was crying. I was in tears. I think at first it was because I could not believe how everyone all around me was that cruel. And I wish more than anything I could speak without a stammer in my voice again. I think I didn't really want to let this stammer defeat me. Mum and Dad used to record me and my sister on video all the time. It was always about it. Came out on birthdays, Christmases, you name it. It came out. And I remember this one video of me and my sister, and we were in our cute pajamas. We were bunched up on the seat together, and you'd hear Mum saying in the background, "Where did you two go yesterday?" We'd cry. We went to the safari yesterday. When I look back over that video, I feel sad. I really do. And I know exactly what I was feeling back then when Mum had the camera out. Of course I had my turn, and I said whatever it was. And then when it was my sister's turn, I wasn't given a chance to speak. It was because, unlike me, my sister did not have a stammer, and I wanted to be able to be a bit forthcoming. I wanted to dominate the conversation. It had to be about me and what I wanted to say rather than my sister. And I think it was that bad that my mum had to do a separate video where it was just her and my sister talking about this safari park. Yes. Usually you hear how people who stammer are shy and timid. That was not me. I was shy and timid because I was bullied, not because I had a stammer. I loved being the centre of attention. I loved talking. I even when I was younger, Mum used to put me and my sister in matching flowery dresses, and this was at birthdays, parties, whatever the occasion was. And I remember a conversation my sister had. She said, when I was younger, I always felt like I was really, really overdressed. And then Mum said, oh, I was a cruel parent, wasn't I? Teasing. And then Lindsay said, well, I always felt uncomfortable. And and there's me, like in the nice dress, people paying attention to the both of us, even me, and I loved it. I loved the attention ever since I was a little girl. Whenever there was something going on, I like to be the centre of attention in one way or the other. And yes, so even though I had a stammer, I didn't let it stop me having fun, and I always kept on. I always kept on. I tried hard not to let it hold me back. However, I think towards the end, roughly when I was about 15, I had given up. So basically, I had battled with this stammer since, I don't know, maybe about 5, maybe 5 or 6 until I was 15. That's a long time. And I think at this point I had Mom tells me at this point I didn't want to talk to nobody. I think I went over, yeah, that was it. Mom told me, she took me and my sister over to my nan's, and I didn't want to play with my own cousins. I just wanted to sit in her lap and not talk. And it's hard for me to imagine because I'm not a parent, but I'm guessing as a mom, as a dad, even a nan, it's upsetting to see your grandchild or your child in that kind of a state where it's there's nothing there to communicate with. I have and I had gone to a speech therapist before, and her idea to get me talking, like to fix my speech, I hadn't a clue how, but her idea was to get me talking about a birthday or a holiday I'd been on, and at the time I'd been on my first holiday, which was important to me, so I wanted to tell her all about it. I'd left the country to go to Spain, and I was talking, and ever so slowly these coins appeared, as she kept pushing these coins, and I think it was because of this I tried my hardest not to. I thought in my head to win this game, whatever it was, I had to not stammer. However, if she felt I stammered and I didn't think I had, she'd push these coins. And it hurt. It actually hurt. And I chose to continue on. I chose to continue on, and I was really, really trying to be better. And then when more coins were pushed across this table, it felt like, to me, every time I opened my mouth, I must have sounded awful. And at this point I burst into tears, and the therapist was going, whilst I was crying, "Why are you crying? Tell me, why are you crying?" But feelings of shame and embarrassment, because I was highly embarrassed, you keep to yourself. And I do think there was one good thing she did do, which was to record me. She used to record me and play it back so I could see myself, and I think this is why I do YouTube videos and put them out there. When I was in middle school, in my early years, the teachers expected me to read out passages of a book in the class. I'd look at my passage I'd got to read. There was no getting out of it. And I'd think, well, I'd gotta do it. So it was less embarrassing keeping my eyes glued to this page and stammering and stuttering through the whole of it. When I had done it, I was physically exhausted. Explaining myself to teachers, I also felt physically exhausted. It's like I could see they were giving me the time of day and they were trying to understand, but I could see in their face that it felt like, for me, hurry up and explain yourself and be done. And the times when I would try and speed it up, it just didn't work out at all. And when I'd talk, just like anybody else, I'd want to captivate my audience, have their interest, and when you don't have it, it's like in year 7 in history class. The class are only listening because they had to. Now, let me explain. I could see, even though they were giving me time to talk, but I could see people were like this, and they was owning out, gazing into space, and the message that I got off the whole of my class was, hurry up, just finish, what it is and sit down. And the more I thought like that, and the more I felt I had to hurry it up, I became worse. I am not kidding, I became worse. I felt under more pressure, and it is actually quite intimidating standing up in your class when you are the only person talking. Anyway, I tried to explain this to a teacher. Now, I don't think I managed to explain it in a way for her to understand. I actually told her that people don't really have time for me, but she said, "Shut up, yes they do make time." But at the time I couldn't quite convey what I actually meant. I am usually at my worst, even now, when I'm on the phone. I've gotten embarrassed. The reciprocant on the other end doesn't know what I am talking about, or if I'm at least trying to tell this person, hello, I need a taxi, and they'll ask me what my name is, and I'll have to say it in a way they understand, and it is torture. It is absolute torture. I am more comfortable with people I know and people who know me, and it is better if I am on a one-to-one with another person. And this way people know exactly what I mean and also what I want to say as well. And one annoying thing that happens is people like to finish my sentences, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so annoying. I wanted to tell them that it's not as effective when it comes out of their mouth and not mine. If you go to a bar, and order a drink, you need to do two things. This is based on my understanding. Make the bartender know exactly what you want, but don't do it quickly. If you worry about doing it quickly and they can't hear, they will ask you to repeat yourself again, and then you put more pressure on yourself if you feel you have to talk quickly or speed up. With calmly and loudly. They know what you want and you walk off happier. There has been two key changes for me in my life. The first was when I was 15. I went to a trained speech therapist, Stephen Hill. I will happily drum up business for him. He is, because he is amazing. He literally is. He is a self-taught former stammerer who, through his practice, had me talking normally like anybody else in 2 weeks. And I remember talking about this to the kids in high school, and I was telling them how I'd learnt how to breathe, and I was explaining explaining things to them in the way of a what's it called again, a car petrol, a petrol meter. Basically, if the meter is at the top, you are full of breath. If you keep talking on the same breath for a long time, because at first this breath was a good one and the next breath might not be a good one, because that is the fear behind it. So the more you continue to talk on the, on your first breath, you eventually run out of things to get out. And then the next one, you have exhausted yourself out doing it. So one thing I would hold is, instead of arithmetic methods, you need to speak with a wide open mouth, ramp up on the first word and emphasize important words. And when you emphasize, you automatically breathe. It automatically captivates your audience. When to pause, when to keep talking, and things that you want your audience to sink in, then it is better. It's like what I would do is look people up who I admired on the internet, and this is from YouTube. I would look up Emma Hunton. She's awesome. She has a good, clear voice, and I think it's because I look up people and celebrities on the internet, I feel that I can make comparisons, and I know people who are nervous. It is good to have time with this person to explain. Or I think recently, the recent interviews that Kirsten Stewart gives are actually getting better, because she has this nervous, quirky energy going on, and at times I think I can't watch her. If I watch her, it's not helping me. So it's nothing about her that's personal, but I need to look at people who I think are good conversationalists. I like Hayden Panettiere, and she is awesome. It's like she thinks about what she needs to, and then she puts it in words, and she says what she needs to. And I think that's absolutely awesome. I mean, I've seen her in interviews where she's telling a story and she has everybody's attention. I also like Hayley Kawako. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly, but then again, she comes out with entertaining stories, and I'm like, gosh, I want to do that. So if I listen to these people first thing in the morning, it preps me up for the rest of the day. And I also think of the rules too, my speech rules, and I've heard was it this morning that our Kate was on this morning talking to Holly and Heath Schofield. No, I'm sorry, Phillips Schofield. I don't know where that came from. But, oh, hang on a second, I've got my first comment. Damn it, it's gone. I didn't see that long enough. I would love to answer you, but I'm not too sure what to do. Hang on a second. Okay, I stammer when my ad pills effects went out. I have AAD and that's not nice at all. My heart really goes out. It's horrible. It's like stammering is not something that other people are aware of. It's not always something that happens that people understand, and some people just, I find in my experience, they do not know how to treat you at all. It's like, it is weird. It's really weird, because it's like, if a person actually has any questions and they want me to explain it, I'll happily explain it. But I think sometimes you've got to have the words and the tools to be able to explain it to other people. And yeah, and I think also the next person I looked up, it was actually, I was looking on the internet, okay, I was looking for, I don't know what I was looking for now, but I was on YouTube and I saw Renee Brown live TEDx talk. She was amazing. She was a great public speaker. I think after I listened to her and I listened to her breathing and listened to how she communicated, I put it into practice myself, and I'm not too sure if it was the next day or the day afterwards. I tried doing exactly the same when I spoke to other people, and even Mum and my dad asked me, have I been doing my speech rules? I hadn't. I've been listening to Renee, and oh my god, she is awesome. I absolutely love her. She's like, she knows what she wants to talk about, and she comes out and she says exactly how to talk to people, I mean, it's like Renee actually said after her TEDx talk, then came all these calls about speaking in front of a business and speaking at lots of different places too. She is an awesome person to look at, and it's like, what makes her interesting? How does she actually keep her viewers entertained? And she does it in the way she talks. And I've got another one. It takes interacting. Yes, that is true. It does take practice. That it does become easier over time. It is if you become comfortable trouble doing it and you keep doing it, it does become easier. But, and this is what I actually found out, it's not a cure. It's not like take medicine for the cold and that's it, it's done and over. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of hard, and yes it is, you know, and I think if you don't keep on top of it, you can fall back into old habits. You really can fall back into old habits. This is why it's really important. Yes, you do feel more confident. You really do. It's like I even take some of my own inspiration off Emmy Otto. It's like she's an amazing young person, and I love her interviews too, that she actually does. And her album was all about being confident. So I think I've gone past the point of school, and I've gone past the point of going in to my first job and making a mark. I'm 33 years old. No, I'm sorry. I will be 33 this year though, but at the moment I am currently 32, and I mean I do feel I have got more confidence than how I used to have. It's a long process of growing up, and it's like when people know you as a stammerer, they expect it, say after a time, and it's if you hold your own and you have your own thoughts and opinions, then you can say whatever it is that you want to. And I think it is important, because each and every single day loads of people make lots of YouTube things and they put it on the internet, and I don't think they always think about stammerers. You know, it does take a lot of courage and a lot of acceptance, as if to say, yes, I am who I am and I stammer. But I know I don't have to if I can do work and put all this work in, because I suppose at the end of the day it is your voice that makes you get places, and it's your voice that is your spokespiece. You know, if a person asks you for your I don't know, if a person asks you, what did you used to do at school? What was your least favourite subject? And then you talk about it or whatever, or you give your opinion on, I don't know, animal cruelty. Yeah, you can do things if you put your mind to it. Yeah, you actually can. It depends how much it holds of importance to you. I mean, was it last year now, or a couple of years ago? I was at work and I was on a lunch break, and I was just really tired, really drained and I needed a sugar pick me up. So I thought the best way to get some sugar in me is to go to the bakery and ask for a donut. I don't know how, don't get me how, but I had problems saying the word D for donut. And I stammered. The next thing I know, someone had actually taken the mick out of me. And I was in work uniform at the time, and I was actually going to turn around and give this person a piece of my mind. But I turned around, and it was a young boy. It was a young boy with his mom. And I'm like, I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, don't say anything at all. But his mom was the one who was more shocked. I think as parents, you don't want to think your kids would ever do that thing to another person. She was highly embarrassed, and she actually commanded her son give me an apology. I was so uncomfortable. I literally was, but he did it, and and I was thinking at the end of it, maybe it is a good job his mom corrected him, because I don't know if parents are always aware what their kids do when they can't see them, if that makes any sense. Because I know when I was at school, I think I was friends with one of my friends, or she wasn't a friend, she was a bit of bully to me, but I was friends with her mom, and she was absolutely lovely, and I just thought, I wish her daughter could actually be that nice back. Yeah. So it is confidence. It does help once you have conquered what it is that you are trying to do. So I never want people who stammer to feel ashamed. I never want them to feel alone. It's like I felt I was the only stammer in my first school, in my middle school, in my high school. So I actually did feel really singled out. Yeah, and it wasn't always a good time. But I think at the end of it, you grow and you learn and you sort of accept it is a part of you. But it is a part of you that you can actually control, and you can kind of grasp on. Okay, now I've rambled on for a while, and I need to turn this off. So I might do another live stream, I don't know. It depends on how successful this one is.